Commune with your own heart upon your bed, and then be silent. Commune in what sense? Carry on a dialogue. What dialogue? From the premise of my wish fulfilled. Well, with whom would I share it? Well, I would share it with my wife, first of all. Then my daughter would be the next one to know it. Then my circle of friends would come into it. They would know it. Well then, carry on the dialogue with them. Have them congratulate you on your good fortune, and then accept it as an accomplished fact. It will be done for you. And fall asleep in that dialogue. Don't argue. That will only imply that you're not aware of it. That is something to be done. That some obstacle to be overcome. No, you go to the end of the matter. Always go to the end. And if I dwell in the end as though it were present, well then that's all that I do. Then I sleep in that assumption. So I assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled, and then sleep in that assumption. And then carry on the dialogue from that assumption. And this controlled inner dialogue is far more rewarding than you'll ever dream of. It comes out in actual fruit, bearing the fruit of that assumption. So we stop spending our thoughts, our time and our money, and we start to invest our thought and our time and our money. For everything in life must be an investment. So if you're riding on the streetcar, you're riding on a bus, don't idle the time, close your eyes to the obvious, it's not altogether attractive, and carry on your inner dialogue and invest that time. By the time you get to your destination, you've invested wisely between getting on the bus and getting off, if it's only 20 blocks away. And you spent that in a very wise manner. And you've actually used the coin of heaven. He gave you the coin of heaven. Before you judge it, try it. May I tell you, if you try it wisely and really believe in it, it'll prove itself in the testing. And then it doesn't really matter what others will say. You have found that it works. You have the evidence to support it. So it doesn't really matter what the world will say if you try to open up some conversation with a friend or a total stranger. Concerning this, they might laugh at you, but it doesn't really matter. You remain unshaken. I have had moments when you are in a party and you do not know the people, and something leads from this to that, and suddenly you find yourself breaking into a conversation of this nature. And they become indifferent and they turn their back and go elsewhere. Perfectly all right. I'm not offended. When it happens that way, it doesn't really matter. One night, many years ago, he's now gone from this world. You might know him by his reputation. Walter Damrosch. He was a great musician. And I met him at the Harvard Club in New York City. And this friend of mine introduced me to him, and introduced me as a great metaphysician, which is silly. I never identify myself with metaphysics at all, although the word is very good. But Damrosch said to me, and what school is your background? Germanic school, or the French school of metaphysics, or what school of metaphysics? And I said, none. It's only my own visions. Well, Damrosch just simply withered, turned around, and walked away. Completely, ignored me completely from that moment on. He had to have some school, recognized school, the Germanic school. If I could say, well, I studied the Germanic concept of metaphysics, or the French concept, or the English concept. No, I said I have no background of that nature. It's only what I have actually experienced. I'm talking about my own personal experience. And Damrosch turned around and off he went. And that was his meeting with me for just one short little moment. Now he is gone, and my friend who introduced me to him, he is gone too from this world. And there is no transforming power in death. As we are, so we are there. None whatsoever. If I'm a thief here, I'm a thief there. If I'm stupid here, I'm just as stupid there. And so if I'm looking for some background of the Germanic background, I'm looking for it there too. And you'll go blindly by, and he'll walk by, and no one will recognize him. He is bringing light into the world. He came into the world was made by him, and the world knew him not. He came to his own, and his own knew him not. They turned their backs upon him as he comes into the world and tells of the world, how it's brought into being through the Word of God. Then he tells you that you are God and asks you to imitate God as their children. Well, if God did it this way, and I must imitate him as a dear child, tell me exactly how he did it. For we are told, through faith we understand that the worlds were created by the Word of God, so that things that are seen were made out of things which do not appear. Is that how it's done? It does not yet appear what we shall be, all right? But I will assume that I am what I would like to be, and it has not yet appeared. Is that how he did it? Yes. He calls the thing that isn't seen as though it were, and the unseen becomes seen. Well, now I'll do the same thing if I must imitate him as a dear child. So it is not yet real in my world that I am the man that I like to be. Well, I will dare to assume that I am, and to prove it, I will carry on this inner dialogue with a circle of friends that would know it when it happens. But I'll carry it on not as something to be, something that is already. So I'll carry it on from the premise of the wish fulfilled, and sleep in that assumption just as though it were true, and see how it works. Then it works. And when it happens, it all happens in such a marvelous way that you think it would have happened anyway. It always works that way. It is so simple, and the ways are so perfect that when it happens, you're inclined to say to yourself, and your friends will convince you, well, you know, it would have happened anyway. You see how it happened? Look, you met so-and-so, and so-and-so introduced you to so-and-so, and through these introductions, it happened. Now, would I have met this one, and would he have introduced me to that one, and therefore would it have happened had I not preceded the entire meetings by my assumption? And of course, then they have the big question mark. Well, it would have happened anyway. And many a person will say that, because when it happens, it always happens so naturally. Even if it comes suddenly, it is still in a natural way that it happens. Nothing comes out of the clouds and drops in your lap a huge bag of money. No, if it happens, it's going to happen naturally. Even though it surprises your friends and surprises you, it's going to happen in a very normal, natural manner. So I appeal to you to use your time and your thoughts wisely by investing them rather than spending them. And you can start now, this very moment, to invest your time, invest your thought. And in the not distant future, you'll get the fruit of the investment. For to invest is to expect returns on your equity. And you have equity in the ability to think, and to think in terms of images, think in terms of thoughts. And you have time. So you can actually take it now and invest it.